Light versus dark. Jedi versus Sith. Rebels versus Empire. Tyranny versus freedom. You can view the original Star Wars trilogy as a simple morality play. Many have criticized it as such. With names like the Empire, the Rebellion, and the Republic, it's not exactly subtle. Every child can tell the good guys from the bad. There's no question who is right and who is wrong, who will win and who must lose. And yet, Star Wars has proven incredibly deep, expanding into a complex and rich universe across a wide range of stories and mediums. So what's going on under the surface? Where did that complexity come from? What transformed Star Wars from a simple movie into an enduring legacy? And what does it say about the power of stories to explore life's darkest mysteries? Let's look at how Return of the Jedi led Star Wars into a much broader future by deepening our understanding of the Force itself. A New Hope is an incredibly straightforward story, intentionally so. It's an introduction. The Jedi were heroes, guardians of peace and justice, keepers of the light. The Empire is run by fallen Jedi who would destroy entire planets to advance their power. The Rebellion is a band of freedom fighters trying to stop them. But Empire Strikes Back complicates the picture, with Lando's betrayal, Luke's vision, Yoda and Obi-Wan's deception, and Vader's final revelation. The line between light and dark, good and evil, is not so distinct. There is a darkness in all of us, and evil thrives on the best of intentions. The rebels can fail. Luke can fall. And just what will become of the galaxy upon the return of the Jedi? The title asks the question. Until now, it had lingered in the background. It wouldn't be fully explored until the next trilogy of movies. But if Luke is to advent the return of the Jedi after 1,000 generations, where did they go? Why did they fall? And what will prevent it from happening again? Everything in the movie drives toward this question. Everything pushes Luke toward this final answer. The Emperor assures it. It's a trap he cannot escape. He is meant to break as his father did, as the Jedi did. And yet, as fate would have it, Luke stumbles on an answer. His feelings betray him. Pulled in every direction by Obi-Wan and Yoda and Palpatine and Vader and Leia, between duty and sacrifice and anger and fear and love, he finds the truth within himself, forgotten by the Jedi and despised by the Sith, where all of life comes together in perfect harmony and true strength and goodness exist within the balance of the Force. Return of the Jedi begins on a dark note. The Empire is building another Death Star. Han is hanging on a wall in Jabba's palace. R2 and 3PO are given over to a weird droid dungeon. Leia and Chewie infiltrate the palace only to be captured. Luke calls himself a Jedi Knight, but the first time we see him, he's wearing all black and knocking out guards with the Force. You could be forgiven for wondering whether he's fallen. There's ample reason to think he's angry. At Jabba for capturing his friends, at Darth Vader, his father, for nearly killing him, at Obi-Wan and Yoda for lying to him. Perhaps he's come to Jabba's palace to wreak a righteous havoc before turning his ire toward the Empire. He doesn't. For now, at least. Not until he's emerged into the bright sands of Tatooine, having exhausted all other options, does he ignite his lightsaber. Green, not red. The fight is a massacre, but it does more than show us how powerful Luke has become. It shows us that a Jedi Knight can fight, even kill when necessary. The dark side is not fundamentally about violence or power. So what is it about?
Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side of the Force are they.
Empire Strikes Back heavily implies that strong emotion is the path to the dark side. Yoda preaches calm, peace, passivity, detachment, a connection with your inner spiritual self separate from the concerns of crude matter. He speaks in riddles and sayings. Lucas borrows heavily from Buddhist philosophy, conceiving of the Jedi as a group of warrior monks, but blends them with Christian ideas of nobility and duty. Note that he calls them Jedi Knights, a medieval Western concept. It makes sense because Lucas called himself a Buddhist Methodist. Obi-Wan represents this dynamic more than Yoda. Yoda, in the original trilogy at least, is the mysterious guru. Obi-Wan is the wise and stoic old lord who takes Luke as his squire on a noble quest. But there's something wrong with this conception, and Luke knows it. He rebels against Yoda and Obi-Wan in Empire Strikes Back by refusing to let go of the people close to him. And though it ends in defeat, his suspicions are ultimately confirmed. There was more to the story. The fact that Vader is his father changes everything. The same attachment that drove him to fight Vader now prevents him from doing so. This goes against everything Obi-Wan and Yoda have told him. Because they are heroes, the good guys, and great characters, it's easy to overlook what Yoda and Obi-Wan's plan is. They have been raising Luke to destroy Palpatine and Vader. They've been training him to kill his own father while hiding that fact from him. That's not to say they were evil. Deceptions aside, it was a good and necessary plan to make. They weren't evil. They were wrong. They were wrong in the way that all the Jedi were wrong. And if Luke had followed them down that path, he would have been destroyed by Palpatine and Vader just as the Jedi were. Fortunately, he's too much of a rebel at heart. To understand what Luke must accomplish and why it is important, we first need to understand why the Jedi fell. The original trilogy doesn't give us the details. For that, we'd have to wait until the prequels. But all the context is there. Luke's interactions with both Obi-Wan and Yoda are a microcosm of the Jedi Order's flaws. The same flaws Anakin experienced and Palpatine exploited.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
It all comes down to one thing: balance. Although the word balance is never spoken in the original trilogy, Luke's training involves a suspicious amount of balancing acts, usually leading to him falling down. And you can tell Luke has always had this idea in mind because he goes straight to it in the prequels.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force.
The Force is not balanced. The dark side is rising, and Anakin has been chosen to bring it back into balance. Whatever that means. The Jedi seem to think it means he will destroy the Sith, which is a rather convenient interpretation for them, and the movies show you how wrong they are.
It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
Instead, Anakin leaves the galaxy in a much different kind of balance. 2 Jedi, 2 Sith. This is the answer I imagined as a kid, that the prophecy was a kind of curse from a mischievous djinn. But that kind of balance is obviously not a good thing. When Lucas talks about balance as an ideal, he doesn't mean the uncaring, unforgiving balance of Thanos. Nor does he mean it as a sort of gray morality, the halfway point between light and dark. Any shade of darkness will eventually consume you, we're told.
If once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will, as it did Obi-Wan's apprentice.
He means the balance of a monk. Inner balance, harmony, control. The ability to adjust and adapt. To bend without breaking. To run full speed along the knife's edge without falling to either side. To contain all of life within yourself, but not be dominated by any part of it. In this, the Jedi were no more balanced than the Sith. They were good. They were trying to follow the light, but they were wrong. And they were wrong in a way that allowed evil to grow up beneath them. In their desire to do good, they went beyond their calling as neutral guardians, getting too involved in politics and intertwined with a corrupted state. Palpatine exploited this weakness to drag them into open conflict. In their fear of doing evil, they shunned all attachment and cut themselves off from one of the most meaningful aspects of life. Anakin's unavoidable attachment showed how dangerous unmet and unacknowledged needs could be. In both cases, the Jedi were too rigid. Obi-Wan and Yoda still are. They are so focused on the mission to defeat Palpatine, they are willing to lie to Luke about his heritage. They are so worried about his attachments, they believe Luke is safer letting his friends die. They do not believe that Luke's relationships could be a benefit. They refuse to admit the possibility of redemption. The thought never occurs to these venerable Jedi that Vader could be saved by the very thing that doomed him. But Luke is not a Jedi. Like Anakin, he grew up in reality. He's not about to throw away everyone he cares about for some nebulous greater good. He will prove Obi-Wan and Yoda wrong, save his father from the dark side, and usher in a new generation of Jedi, if he can survive one final showdown. The Emperor's plan is simple. Exploit all of Luke's attachments at the same time to create fear, anger, and hatred, the same as he did with Anakin. Palpatine believes that if Luke gives in to his anger and attacks, he will tip over into the dark side forever. So he puts Luke in a desperate situation, where he must watch his friends die and his father betray him without doing anything to help. It's impossible, and we know it's impossible. So when Luke attacks, we're meant to think he is lost. Death or the dark side. Vader clashes with him as the Empire cackles gleefully in the background. And Luke starts off furiously, knocking Vader down, but he's still trying to hold back. He doesn't want to fight his father. He believes that he can save him. Vader presses forward. Luke vaults away. Luke tries to reason, grasping for any small glint in his father's heart, but there is none. Vader throws his saber, catching Luke off balance. The action pauses here. It's the turning point of the fight. We know Vader isn't going to give up. There's no peaceful solution, no speech or appeal or plea that can stop it. This is a battle to the end. But in this moment of stillness, a curious thought may have occurred to us. Why hasn't Luke fallen to the dark side yet? He's struck in anger and hatred, which Palpatine told us was the path to the dark side. Yet fighting with Vader seems to have strengthened Luke's resolve. Maybe, just maybe, Palpatine is wrong. He's tricked Luke into believing a lie. So how can Luke defeat Palpatine and Vader while saving himself and his friends? If he doesn't fight, he'll die. If he does fight, he'll fall. You're tempted, as Luke was, to see the light on one side and the dark on the other. But this is not true. Both evil and apathy lead to their own kind of darkness. The light is that thin beam between the two. Luke has leaned to one side, afraid to fall too far to the other, but he will have to walk that narrow path if he hopes to succeed in redeeming Sith and Jedi alike. He can do it. All he needs is a little push.
So, you have a twin sister.
Luke is prepared to die if necessary, but when Vader threatens Leia, he lunges into a furious assault. He drives Vader back with wide and powerful blows, feet spread, in perfect balance. It is not, you'll notice, emotional balance. It is not calm, nor peaceful, nor passive. Instead, it is the proper human emotions in all the proper human proportions. He should hate Vader and Palpatine. He should fear losing his family. He should be angry at their suffering. He should love them enough to act. He should hope for their salvation. He should be willing to fight and die to save them. He is all this and more. In righteous fury, he vanquishes the man who killed his father, repaying him hand for hand. Only then, when the rush of battle has subsided, does he remember his own mechanical hand, a reminder of what became of his father, and realize just how close he had come. But he didn't. He ran along the knife's edge and did not fall. The Emperor was wrong. He is a Jedi. A Jedi like his father was and should have been and is again. He throws his weapon down at the Emperor's feet in triumph. He has won. Palpatine has only one resort, but that too fails. Anakin returns, not by giving up his hatred, but by balancing it. Concern for his son turns his anger toward its rightful source, the man who caused all his pain and suffering. In a final act, he kills his master. Far from falling to the dark side, as Palpatine promised, he is saved by it. The prophecy is fulfilled. One Jedi remains, but in him, all the Force is balanced. Hey, I'm Dave. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you'll love this one on what makes The Empire Strikes Back so beloved. And subscribe to join me as I break down the prequels and more. I'm on a mission to create the definitive series on the deep meaning and enduring legacy of Star Wars. Till next time, nerds.